Hi, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I'm bringing to you a very, very special guest. Her name is Barbara Ames, and I wanted to share with you first, this is going to be an amazing show. We're going to be talking about, your business online and things. And so this show is for you if you're a change maker who feels called to cause transformation and would like to create an unchained business so you can enjoy your life. Who's there? That's me, definitely. Now, if you have tried several forays into internet marketing, but have largely turned up with nothing, no clients, no income, then this show is for you. Also, if you know anybody who fits that description, please share this video out with them. We want to make sure that we get this information into as many people's hands as possible. And then if you saw the link, there was a link that I posted showing that you can join us live on the show to ask questions. Go ahead and click on that link if you're interested in that. So we're going to get right into it. Barbara, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm really glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks for having me.
Now, why don't you share with our audience who you are and what you do and why we should even listen to you? I mean, come on.
Why? Who the heck am I? I know, right? So I just want to, first of all, maybe clarify a little bit. When I say change makers, a lot of times these people identify as coaches, right? Consultants, teachers, healers. So health coaches, business, all that. But at the bottom of all of it is, and I count myself in that category. I believe you do too, is we want to make an impact, right? We want to change the world. We want to help people grow and become better versions of themselves. And the trick is to get noticed online, right? So, and that's who I am. That's where I came from because that was my dilemma as well. Now, I've been an entrepreneur. I'm going to show my age here a little bit, Linda. I've almost 30 years. Okay. So I've run a multitude of different businesses, 6 and 7 figure businesses, all with quite success. And I was actually about 5 years ago through a series of events. It was actually as a result of the economic crisis, and I found myself about to lose everything. And I had also at that point decided that, I'm tired of working so hard. And instead of retiring, I said, I'm going to leverage this internet business thing to make money. Right. And I'm a smart person. I've been very successful, great marketer. I said, the internet, this is just something I can figure this out. Well, like 2.5 years later, I was still, I'm like, hang on now, what's the deal with this? Why aren't I, making money while I'm on the beach sipping pina coladas while people are buying my stuff? So it's really been a journey for me to understand what it really takes to attract clients online. Now, it's not difficult. I kind of went through all the rough stuff for all our listeners here, and I'm here to share with you guys the shortcuts to what it takes because it's not really what most people think.
Right. And you know what? There's this saying, it only took me 30 years to become an overnight success, right?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yes.
But if you think about 2.5 years, that's a long time, but it's really not that long. And for me, it's been a 3.5 year journey of, trying to finally coming into my own and just, what do you call it? Snipping away at the things that don't work and then finally getting to that one thing. And boy, does it feel good when you finally get here. But it is a journey along the way.
It is a journey. And I'm so glad you said it that way too, because here's the big shocker to me. And I think for most of my clients as well, and probably it sounds like for you, you go into this journey thinking there's some button I need to discover, some phrase I need to say, some sales funnel I need to create. And that's just going to unlock the door to all the riches, but it's really got nothing to do with that at all, right? It's really the journey of us becoming the person that can have what it is that we want, along with the strategies, which is really, we'll go into what that really is here in a minute. But yeah, isn't it? It's about us becoming that person.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that too, because when I first started my journey, so I was in corporate for 35 years and I got all the way to working for a judge in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, I was a legal secretary. So for my position, that was the ultimate.
Yeah.
Without moving to Washington, D.C., That was the ultimate. And so here I was like at the top, at the very, very top of the line that I made those movements to get there. Right. When I got there, I was like, this is really not what I thought it was going to be. This is not fulfilling at all. I know there's got to be something more to life for me. I feel like there's something I'm supposed to be doing. So I made that leap, quit my job, and I went on this journey that I didn't know how long it was going to take. Literally, it was just like you said. I literally thought it was going to be, I'm going to show myself online, and all of a sudden I'm going to be sipping pina coladas on the beach with my laptop. I literally thought that's what it was going to be. And it wasn't that at all. Not at all. So I think the most important part, like what you shared there, I believe for me, at least, the most important part of this journey has been discovering who is Linda, what are Linda's strengths, what does Linda like to do, and then make sure Linda does that as often as possible.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I'm going to show the other part of it is who are the people that needs Linda's help? What are their pains? What are their problems? And really diving into that. So it really, at the core of it, business really is relationship building. And it's so funny because I've noticed, like, if you suck at intimate relationships, you're going to suck at business. And the two are really tied together. And at the core, it's just relationship on steroids, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because this relationship is a relationship where there's an interchange of cash in exchange for services or products, whereas a personal relationship is an exchange in a different way. There's just a different kind of exchange.
But it's still an exchange. And in any relationship, like you said, at the core of it is who is Linda? What are Linda's gifts? And isn't that the same in a personal relationship? Who am I? What do I want? What do I need in this relationship? Well, if you only do that side of it, you're going to have a pretty tough time in a relationship, because at some point you have to say, who's my partner? What does he or she need? What is his or her strengths? How can we work together? Right. So it's that coming together of you and me.
I love you saying that. Yeah, that's so awesome, because I used to be a people pleaser big time. And so not only in my personal life, but when I became a business owner, it was about being a people pleaser, being the yes person, whether it was toxic to me or not, because I had been a people pleaser. So as I started to discover who I am, what I want and what I like and what I love and all this stuff, I started saying yes to me instead of yes to everybody else. And that's not that I don't say yes to others, but I don't do it out of people pleasing. I do it because it's something I truly want to do. And it's something that works for me, and it's in alignment with who Linda is. Like, and I'm using myself in the third person, which is really weird because I don't normally talk about myself that way.
Why not?
but it's like, if it's in alignment with me and what I'm doing, what my mission is and what my passion is and what my vision is. And if it isn't in alignment with that, I say no now, which has totally changed. And it's also helped me. And I want to thank you for this, is it's also helped me to change my personal relationship with my husband, and to also stand up and say, you know what, I don't really want to do that. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, it's never been a big deal to him, but to me it was, because I was a people pleaser.
Yeah, so many people are. And you'll find in business, even more so than just personal relationship, because like I said, business is relationships on steroids, right? Yeah. And in business, you can get just so far being a people pleaser. And eventually something's going to crumble. My husband went through that too in his business. And it'll backfire on you. And eventually you have to just come from a place of, here's who I am, right? So it's getting clear. And here's what I'm going, and here's how I'm going to help you or work with you or whatever it is. And here's what you need. Let's see how we can come together. So it's more of a negotiation, right? Than, and if you think about it, people pleasing really is, at the core of it, it's about, wanting to be liked. That's really where it's coming from, wanting to be approved of and liked. And as change makers, this is why I'm so passionate about working with change makers, because really, when you're being called to cause transformation in the world, you're really being called to a much bigger platform. And that means to be able to do that We need to get out of our own way, which means we need to stop worrying about what people are going to think about us.
Yep.
Because we're causing change in the world, and we need to focus outward, right? You know, JFK, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, they didn't get up on stage and go, oh gosh, I hope I didn't say something. People are thinking, do I look fat? You know, right? I mean, they're like, you know, answering to a bigger calling. And that's what I really love working with change makers in. It's so much more than just having a business. It's really becoming that person.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So I want to say hello to a few people here. Dave Hobley is on board. He has a few clients, but not enough for what he needs. Okay, so we can maybe address that, like how we can help him get that, right? Absolutely. And then hello, Kelly. It's good to see you guys. So if you find this to be something of value for anybody that you know, please share the show out. I want to make sure that as many people get this information as possible. So was that a branded bottle or not branded?
Not branded, sorry. I'm just getting into the whole branding thing, right?
That's funny. I'm changing my brand. I'm in the process of changing my brand right now. So I'm like getting really antsy because I want it to be done now.
I know.
But it takes a while. It takes a while. So let's get to our first question. I made sure I outlined these questions because I wanted to ask you these specific questions. And then, of course, other questions will come out of them just because I'm a very curious person and I have questions as we go. So the first question is, why is it so hard to get noticed online?
Okay, fabulous. So first of all, the biggest problem is that online it's a double-edged sword, right? If you think about it, it's the first time in history that you can literally get online and reach millions and millions and millions of people, right? So even go back 50 years ago, that wasn't even possible, right? You know, you can post a picture of a cute llama or something, and the next thing you know, like 5 million people are seeing it, right? So that's the one side of the sword. The other side is that there is so much out there. How do you become the one that people want to listen to, right? So again, going back to, this is about the relationship. So what most people do when they're trying to get noticed is they talk about themselves, me. I'm a coach. I do Reiki. I can help with this. I love that. I call it the I, me, my thing, right? And that's that. There's a time to talk about you and me, right? The about page on your website, right? And there's a time to focus on them, on the other person. And so if you want to get noticed, and this, by the way, guys, is not just for online. This is also for offline. This is just in general. If you want to get noticed, instead of talking about yourself, be hyper curious about the people that you're talking or you want to help. What is their problem? What's their pain? Where are they at? What are they struggling with? If you just like put yourself to the side for a second and just hyper focus on that, people will notice you. And if you think about it, Linda, we're in a society now where nobody listens to anybody, right? All we want to do is talk about our point of view. Talk. So probably the biggest gift that you can give somebody, and the best way to get noticed, is instead of barking about yourself, to simply ask questions, get curious, and in that process, you'll find an in. You'll be like, oh, I can help you with that. Do you mind if I tell a super short little story about that?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So this is a principle that I learned a couple of years ago from another coach. And at first I was like, I don't get I get the concept of it, but I don't get how to apply it, right? If I go to a networking event and I don't talk about myself, how is anybody going to know that I can help them with their marketing or that I can help, right? So I said, okay. And I kind of did it a little spitefully. I'm going to show her this is baloney, right? So went to this huge, big, networking event. Anybody in our town was there. And I set myself a goal. I said, I am not going to let any sentence come out of my mouth. Everything I say will be a question. And so I went there and I, started chatting with people. Oh, what do you do? Oh, isn't that nice? And whatever they would say, I'd ask them another question about it. And, all the while in the back of my mind going, why would anybody like want to pay attention to me? Linda, next thing I know, people were just like coming around me and people were grabbing my hand, dragging me across the room. Oh, you've got to meet Barb. She is the smartest person I've ever met. And I'm like, how would you even know that? All I did is ask you questions. But really what was happening, I was tapping into people's deep, deep, deep desire to be heard and understood. And immediately they trusted me. And they didn't even care what I did, and I actually got a few clients out of that, but it happened after the fact, obviously.
Yeah, and that is so true because, when we tap into their curiosity, it really helps them to dive deeper into themselves. And there's something I heard somewhat similar to that is that if you go to an event and you speak only 20% and everybody else speaks like 80%, when you leave that event, people are going to say, oh my God, Linda is so awesome. You have to connect with her because people want to be heard. It's all about being heard, right? So now if you go into a networking event with an intention to sell to people, what you're going to do is you're going to repel them away from you. I call it repellent marketing. You walk in there and you like hand your cards out to everybody. I had that happen to me in several networking events and I literally just lay the card down and I walk away. When I'm done, I am not interested in connecting with someone. I don't even take their card so I can reach out to them because I'm not interested in that kind of person being in my sphere. Now that could be wrong, because maybe it's somebody that I can help and I can teach them how to network. But is that what I, Linda, am here for? I don't believe so. I'm here for different things. Somebody else can help them, not me.
Yeah. And think about it too. I love that repellent marketing, right? Because it is, it's like, even if that person was like the one person on this whole planet that could help you, they've really started that relationship off on a bad foot, right? It's like meeting a guy or a girl and they're just like chasing you that might be the love of your life. But when they're coming on that way, you're just like, dude, get away. Right. So it's a good thing. Now, what does this have to do with online? Because we've been talking about networking, right?
Right.
So the first thing, it's still applicable. So I think before you do anything, what you need to do is get hyper curious. And again, online is a perfect way to do that, to just meet people and find out, especially people that you're thinking are in the realm of people you can help. If you're a business coach, people who have a business. If you're a weight loss coach, people who want, want to lose weight, right? And find out what they think their problem is, not what you think the problem is.
Thank you.
But what they think the problem is. Now, that's the hardest part I've seen for people to really get, because I almost see it as what you need to do is meet people where they're at to bring them where they need to be. So here's what you think the problem is. Here's what the real problem is. Once they understand what the real problem is, now we can get them on a journey to get them to their desired outcome. But if we are just talking about what the real problem is, nobody's going to hear them. So I'll give you an example. If I have a client who's a weight loss coach, and she's very up on detoxification. She thinks that getting the poisons out of your body is a major first step in losing weight. So when she goes around barking about detox, nobody hears her. They're not there yet, right? What she wants to do is talk about the pain of having 3 different sizes of clothes in your closet, the pain of, having to starve yourself and still not get results, the pain of, all this stuff. And that's when people will hear her. So we meet them where they're at, and then we can bring them to where they need to be. And that's what's going to get them ready to invest in a solution. So for the internet, you can start. It's a great place to meet people, but you want to meet them with that in mind to find out what they think the problem is. Then you can start talking about the problem. That's where people will hear you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because how often have you heard somebody say, oh my God, Joan, she really needs to do this. John really needs to do this. But you know what? If Joan or John don't know or don't feel like they really need to do that, no matter what product or service you're selling, they're not going to hear you. So, for example, I post a lot of questions on Facebook. Like I'm known for asking a lot of odd questions or good questions. So I'm known for asking a lot of questions. And there was a question I put out there. Next thing I know, I have a whole bunch of health coaches coming after me saying, I can help you. But I wasn't asking for help. So that's like one of the worst things. Like if somebody's not asking for help, that means that when you tell them I can help you, they're like, but I don't need help. What are you talking about? Because I wasn't ready. So if I'm not ready, how can they then, so it's asking those questions, right? So instead of saying, I'm your help, I'm your knight in shining armor, ask them the questions that might lead them to realizing they need help. And so the questions aren't, it's like, are you feeling tired? Maybe instead, like, do you feel like you've been tired lately or something that's not really related to that one thing so they can get down that path maybe? I don't know. I'm kind of asking you a question there.
You're asking me a question. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Oh, right. I'm being interviewed. Okay. Yeah, exactly. You just want to find out where the person is at before we go in for the kill, so to speak, right? Right? Ask them questions. Otherwise, you might be doing this, right? Oh, here's what I can help you with. And they're going, but I'm not struggling with that, even if they are, but they don't know it yet. We got to meet them here. So the other thing about getting noticed online, I think that most people trying to get clients online miss. It's the most important thing. Once you have a sense for the problem and now you can start talking about the problem that they think they're having and the pain, describing the pain, the very first thing, once you get close enough to understanding that, now you can start rallying people around that problem. So the most important thing that most people miss about getting noticed online is that you got to start by building an audience for what you have, or an audience of people who are suffering with this problem that you've identified they are having. Right?
Okay. So what would be an example of, let's use again, because you were mentioning health coach, right? So what would be an example of how that person can build that audience?
Yeah. So how to build that audience. So that's where the first step, which I said, getting really intimate with who they are and how they are experiencing the problem. So weight loss is a great example because you're going, well, the problem is they're fat, right? Or they want to lose weight, right? But there's all kinds of people, and everybody who wants to lose weight all thinks that they're having trouble for a different reason. Some people feel like they're weight loss resistance because they're postmenopausal. Some people think, well, I can't lose weight because I have no willpower. Some people think I can't lose weight because I don't want to give up the foods that I love. Do you get it? So that's the problem. So the problem isn't that they want to lose weight. The problem is why they think they can't lose weight. So do you get it?
Yep.
So what you want to do first is hone in on one of those problems, become the expert on people that want to lose weight but think they can't because their hormones have changed after menopause or whatever, or want to lose weight but they can't because they don't want to give up the foods that they love. One of those. And now you want to just start talking about that and building an audience for people who feel like that is their problem. So again, this is a relationship, right? So first thing we want to do is go out there and strut our stuff or attract people, right? And attract them in a way that demonstrates we understand where they are. And then we want to build a relationship with them. So that's where most people, that's the step that most people miss, is that building that audience first. And Linda, of course, online, in case some of the viewers don't realize I'm talking about this, what that means is an email list, generally speaking. And so why is that? So first of all, an email list is like, for somebody to get onto your email list means that they have to jump through a hoop. You have to like you enough to give you their email address.
Okay.
So Facebook, social media is more like, think of social media as like a billboard, right? That you see when you're driving into town. It's a place, people aren't there to, necessarily find solutions to their problem. They're looky-loos. They're checking stuff out. They go, oh, isn't that cute? And looking at cat videos and things, right? But for you to get somebody's email address and name, you have to exchange something that they want. So that's where the whole freebie thing comes in, right? So some people have already demonstrated that they see you or something that you're offering as a solution, which means you've already gone down that path of demonstrating you understand what their problem is. And I can support that with numbers, Linda. The conversion rate for anything, whether it's in exchange for money or just to opt in for a free gift, the conversion rate in social media is less than 0.5%. The conversion, the conversion rate for an email list is more like 3.5%.
Okay.
So do you get that?
Yeah. So it's not a huge percentage when you're talking about percentages, but the difference in percentages from social media as opposed to email, that's huge.
That's huge. So email list represents your tribe, your group of followers that have said, wow, yes, there's somebody who gets me, right? Mm-hmm. Enough that I'm going to give her my email address. And now once you have them in your fold, so to speak, now you can go about the business of building a relationship with them, which I'm sure most people on this session have heard the know, like, and trust factor, right? So that's, again, building that relationship long enough to ask them on their first date with you, right? So to speak, right?
And then you can hold their hand next time.
Then you can hold their hand, maybe get a kiss on the cheek.
Well, speaking about that, is you do have a free gift that we're going to share with you guys at the end. So make sure you stick around to the end of the show so that you can get that free gift. And it's the top 6 ways to build a list. Her 3-part video training. So make sure you stick around for that. So let's go to our last question, which is, what is the key to getting, and Dave, we'll come back to your question in just a second. So stick around. What is the key to getting your online marketing to work?
Yeah. Well, it's basically what we've been talking about. So first thing you want to do is, again, hone in on that problem that they think they are. It requires that we make a decision, right? Of what, who and what. And the who isn't as important as the what, meaning that the who is more like comes along with the what. So if you decide that you want to focus on people who think that that they can't lose weight because they don't want to give up the foods that they love, then the who is just, it's not really relevant. It could be a 50-year-old guy or a 25-year-old girl. It doesn't matter. Sometimes the what will inform the who. For example, if it's people who want to lose weight but feel like they can't because they're postmenopausal, well, that's obviously women who are probably, 40, 50 plus, right? So it's not, the who can help you get to the what. I hope I'm being clear. I'm not doing too much who, what, where, why.
No, I think that's good. Using the example, because we're using weight loss just as our example here, which is good. You're staying with the same example, I think, because it helps to clarify exactly what that is. So that's awesome. Knowing that information is going to be very helpful in your marketing and who you're going to reach and who you're going to attract. And the thing is, the know, like, trust factor. That's like, you know me because you're watching my show, right? But you obviously like me enough to watch my show. And then you trust me, possibly. Maybe I've gained trust because I'm consistent. I'm bringing people on. You see that the people I'm bringing on are providing tremendous value, like Barbara here. And so because of that, now you trust me. So now there's what's that next movement, right? Is for me to move you into the next level, which would be to offer you something, a free download, so that I can capture you and bring you over to my email list. So that's exactly what you're talking about, right, Barb?
Exactly. Now,
I called you Barb. I don't know if you go by Barb. That was an accident.
Oh my God. No, I'm fine. Barb's great. I'm not so keen on Barbie, but if you must,
Okay.
but Barbara's fine. No, but once you get them onto your email list, now you can, like I said, they've already demonstrated, like you said, if you give them a freebie,
Right.
now they're on your email list, you can schedule regular newsletters to go out. You can do webinar trainings. You can just love them all up and down. And then the next time you decide to launch a program, something that you think, if it happens to be somewhere that person feels stuck, they're going to hear it. They're going to know you well enough. And they're going to be far more inclined to sign up for you in that program or that coaching or whatever it is than if they just tuned in and saw you on Facebook for the very first time and you're offering that same program. Because they're like, yeah, I get it. That sounds like it's going to solve a problem. But who is this chick? I don't know her. Right. So it's really, really, really about building that relationship. So in that regard, it's no different than offline. If you think about it, anybody who's been in business for a while knows that, right? You go to networking events, you buy people coffee, you take them out, but for some reason, when we start, hunting for leads and prospects online, we throw all that stuff out the window. I know I did, and we forget all about it, but it really comes down to the same thing. But what's cool about client attraction online is that you can do that all from your home office or living room. Like we are here, we can send an email. I don't have to get up and put my face on and trudge out to a networking event or go buy somebody coffee. I can send them an email instead.
Right. And here we're reaching however many people we're reaching throughout the entire world. So online, it's just, there's 7 billion people on the planet. And I heard the new numbers recently, 2.2 billion of them are on Facebook alone. So, wow. Using your online platforms, it's really just, take advantage of it. It's an amazing place. So I want to share what your free gift is. So she has a free gift that is the top 6 ways to build a list. It's a 3-part video training. And so go ahead and type the words free gift in the comments below. I haven't set up my messenger bot yet to send you a link to it, but I'll send you, anybody who gets there before I've set up my messenger bot, I'll send the link to you. But type free gift in the comments below. And again, that's the top 6 ways to build a list, her 3-part video training. You want to talk about that training real quick, and then we'll get to Dave's question, and then we'll end the show.
Perfect. So it's just what it sounds like. I've talked a lot about how important that is, and most people get stuck there. They get stumped because it's very difficult to build a list, right? You either have to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads, and that can just be a big money pit unless you're crystal clear on who you know, or it takes forever. So I'm comparing the top 6 ways, and I'm showing you which ways are most appropriate for which stage of business you're at.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much. Now, so Dave has a question. He says, my big challenge right now is time. I'm working to dump a major project I'm on and need to ramp up to replace that income within the next year. So I guess I need affordable VAs. What do you think? Think that's the way for him to go?
To dump a project, I suppose. Gosh, I got so many questions about that, yeah. Dave. I don't know.
Let's have you two connect. Is that okay with you, Barbara?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, Dave, go ahead and connect with Barbara because she has some questions for you. Maybe you can, just hop on a quick call. Maybe there's something she can help you with and figure this out. You never know.
Good. I'd like to know what kind of project it is. Is it related to the new thing you're trying to do? I mean, all of that. There's a dozen questions to ask before I can give you an educated suggestion or opinion. But yeah, I'm happy to help you, Dave.
Yeah, and VAs are, of course, a great way to go. For any business owner who's feeling overwhelmed and they're not getting everything done, a virtual assistant is definitely a great way to go. But make sure I was a virtual assistant for 20 years, so say just make sure you do your homework. Make sure you find one that suits your needs, but not only that, but you can get along with them and the personalities fit. You want to make sure that works and make sure that they are communicative. I would say that's probably the number one thing that I think is lacking in virtual assistants is that they're not all communicative. So you want to make sure that it's somebody that will communicate back with you. Okay, again, go and type the word free gift in the comments below to receive, Barb's, the top 6 ways to build a list. And Barbara, I want to thank you so much for being here on the show. This was great, great, great information. Go to Barbera Aimes. It's BABERAAIMES.com. Go check her out. Just amazing stuff. She's a wonderful person. And I remember the first time we got on a phone call, I was like, oh my God, this is like my soul sister. So,
we're soul sisters, honey.
We had no like trust factor. It was really immediate. So.
Yeah, totally.
So thank you guys so much for being here, and please share this out on your list, if you found any of this to be of value. And I look forward to seeing you for the next interview. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.